Alex was a young boy with a heart full of dreams and a spirit as bright as the sun. He lived in a small town where everyone knew each other, and he was proud of his mixed heritage. His father was African American, and his mother was Hispanic. However, not everyone in town celebrated this mix like he did. At school, Alex often faced harsh words from other kids. They called him half-breed, laughing and mocking him for being different. These hurtful names pierced through his heart, leaving him feeling lonely. While Alex loved the sounds of both cultures around him, the music, the food, the stories, he struggled to fit in. His classmates didn't understand that being mixed was a gift. Instead, they saw it as something strange. At home, though, things were different. His parents embraced their backgrounds and taught Alex to be proud of who he was. They reminded him that every part of his identity was special. In moments alone, surrounded by his family's warmth, Alex found comfort in his rich history and began to dream of a day when others would see him as he saw himself. Every day at school felt like a battle for Alex. As he walked through the hallways, whispers followed him like shadows. "Look, it's the half-breed!" Some kids would shout with laughter, while others would join in, mimicking the words as if they were a song. The teasing wasn't just hurtful. It made Alex feel invisible among his peers. He watched other kids form tight friendships, laughing and sharing secrets, while he stood on the sidelines, unsure of where he belonged. Each taunt chipped away at his confidence, making him doubt himself and his worth. During lunch, he would sit alone at a table in the corner, picking at his food as he wished for a friend to sit beside him. Some days were better than others, but the sting of being called names lingered long after the laughter faded. Despite his family's encouragement, Alex often felt trapped in a world that didn't see him for who he truly was. He longed for acceptance and dreamed of a day when he could proudly stand tall without fear of mockery. Despite the challenges he faced at school, Alex found solace in his talent for shooting. Each day after classes, while other kids went home or played games, Alex headed to the local shooting range. It was a small, weathered place on the outskirts of town, but to him, it felt like a sanctuary. The moment he picked up a gun, all his worries faded away. With each shot he fired, he felt a sense of freedom and control that was hard to find elsewhere. He loved the way the target stood still, waiting for him to take aim. As he practiced, he focused on the rhythm of his breath and the steady pull of the trigger. It was in these moments that he felt truly alive. Alex's dedication showed as he improved quickly, hitting targets with precision. Shooting became not just a hobby but a passion. It allowed him to escape from the teasing and pain at school, giving him a sense of accomplishment that lifted his spirits. Even on tough days, knowing he could come here and practice brought him joy and hope for brighter days ahead. The day finally arrived for the big announcement. During morning assembly, the principal stood excitedly at the podium, her voice cutting through the chatter of students. "I'm pleased to announce our first annual shooting contest. It's open to everyone. No experience necessary. We encourage all students to join and have fun." Gasps of surprise filled the auditorium as students exchanged glances, some whispering their plans to compete. Alex's heart raced with a mixture of hope and anxiety. He pictured himself in front of the target, his hands steady and focused. For him, this contest was more than just a competition. It could be a way to prove himself. As details about practice sessions and sign-ups were shared, Alex felt energized by the thought of joining in. He envisioned colleagues turned friends cheering for him instead of teasing him, and that thought gave him strength. While some kids brushed off the contest with laughter, others started making plans for teamwork and strategy. With a spark of determination ignited within him, Alex couldn't help but imagine how this contest could turn things around. Not just for him, but for everyone who dared to dream big. As the excitement of the contest settled in, doubt crept into Alex's mind like a shadow. He thought about what would happen if he didn't perform well. The idea of standing in front of his classmates, taking his turn, and missing the target filled him with dread. What if they laughed at him again? The memory of being called half-breed haunted him, and he feared the mockery would return if he failed. Alex found himself pacing in his room, the weight of uncertainty heavy on his shoulders. Would his practice be enough? Some kids seemed so confident, while he felt like an outsider still trying to find his place. He imagined their jeering laughter echoing in his ears if he didn't succeed, and it made his stomach twist with anxiety. With each passing day, the contest loomed closer, and Alex struggled to shake off these fears. The potential for triumph was thrilling, but so was the risk of failure. He longed for a way to silence the doubts that threatened to overshadow his desire to prove himself and embrace what he loved most, shooting. One evening, as Alex sat at the kitchen table with his head resting on his hands, his mother noticed he was feeling down. She approached him gently, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. "You know, Alex, you have a real gift for shooting," she said softly. "Don't let doubt take that away from you. You've practiced hard, and I believe in you." His father joined them, adding, "Remember that everyone feels nervous sometimes. What matters is that you try your best. We'll be so proud of you no matter what." Their encouraging words began to lift the heavy weight from Alex's heart. At school the next day, a couple of his friends, Danny and Mia, approached him during lunch. They had overheard him talking about his worries and wanted to help. "We're rooting for you," Danny exclaimed. "You can do this. Let's practice together." Feeling the warmth of their support filled Alex with determination. He realized he wasn't alone in this journey. He had loved ones cheering him on. Their encouragement sparked a new sense of confidence within him, helping him to focus on the contest ahead rather than his fears. With renewed determination, Alex began training harder than ever for the shooting contest. After school, he would rush to the local range, where he practiced relentlessly, pouring his heart into every shot. The comforting scent of the outdoors mixed with the sound of bullets hitting targets became an invigorating backdrop for him. Day after day, he focused on perfecting his stance, breath control, and aim. He set small goals for himself, hitting the bullseye a few times in a row or improving his speed. Each achievement filled him with pride and boosted his self-esteem, helping him forget about the bullying for a while. The steady rhythm of firing slowly replaced fear with confidence. Sometimes Danny and Mia would join him for practice. They offered tips and cheered him on, reminding him to have fun and enjoy the process. As Alex trained, he visualized himself at the contest, calmly taking each shot while his friends and family cheered from the sidelines. This mental image kept him motivated and hopeful, and for the first time in a long time, he felt ready to face not just the contest but any challenge that came his way. The day of the contest dawned bright and clear, buzzing with excitement as students arrived at the shooting range. Colorful banners flapped in the gentle breeze, announcing the event and adding to the festive atmosphere. Laughter and chatter filled the air as friends gathered, some nervously pacing while others exchanged high-fives and encouragement. Alex felt a mix of nerves and anticipation as he stepped into the bustling scene. He spotted familiar faces. Danny and Mia were there, beaming with excitement and ready to cheer him on. Some competitors practiced their shots, while others chatted about strategies, their voices rising above the sounds of clinking metal and distant cheers. As Alex approached the firing line, he took a deep breath, taking in the sights around him. The targets stood bright and clear against the backdrop of a blue sky, waiting patiently. The energy was infectious. Kids were trading stories and bold predictions about who would win. Alex could feel his heart racing, but amidst the chaos, he found comfort in knowing he had worked hard to reach this moment. Today was his chance to shine, and he was ready to give it his all. As the contest progressed, it was time for Alex to face his challengers. He stepped up to the firing line, his heart pounding as he scanned the crowd. Among the competitors were some of the very classmates who had mocked him, their smug expressions a stark reminder of his past. They exchanged whispers and chuckles, but Alex tried to block them out, focusing instead on the target before him. The first contestant took their shot, hitting the target with ease and earning cheers from the audience. Alex felt a wave of anxiety wash over him as he watched. What if he couldn't measure up? As he prepared for his turn, he closed his eyes for a moment, recalling the supportive words from his family and friends. Finally, it was his time to shine. He approached the line, feeling the weight of everyone's eyes on him. He took a deep breath, remembering the countless hours of practice and all the support he had received. With steady hands, he aimed at the target, blocking out the noise and focusing solely on this moment. He pulled the trigger, feeling a rush of exhilaration as he hit his mark. This was not just a contest. It was his chance for redemption. The contest reached its climax as it came down to the final shot. Alex stood at the firing line, his heart racing furiously in his chest. The cheers and chatter from the crowd faded into a dull roar as he focused intently on the target ahead. The world around him seemed to blur, and all he could see was the bright bullseye, waiting for him to make his mark. With each breath, he reminded himself of his training, the countless hours spent perfecting his aim. He felt the weight of expectation not just from the audience but from himself. This shot held the power to change everything. He took a moment to clear his mind, envisioning success and how proud his family would be. As he steadied his hands, he felt a surge of determination wash over him. It was time to silence the doubt that had haunted him for so long. With his heart pounding and adrenaline coursing through him, Alex aimed carefully, letting everything else fade away. In that split second, he pulled the trigger, trusting in himself and every ounce of effort he had put in. This was it, the moment he had been waiting for. The moment Alex pulled the trigger, time seemed to stand still. The bullet flew straight and true, striking the bullseye with a satisfying thud that echoed across the range. Instantly, the crowd erupted into cheers, a wave of excitement washing over him. He stood frozen for a heartbeat, disbelief washing over him. He had done it. As the announcer declared his victory, Alex looked around in astonishment. His classmates, including those who had once mocked him, wore expressions of shock and admiration. The smugness that had characterized their faces earlier was replaced with wide eyes and dropped jaws. It felt surreal to see them silenced by his impressive shot. Alex's friends Danny and Mia rushed over, lifting him off his feet in celebration. "You did it!" they shouted, grinning from ear to ear. In that moment, Alex felt a sense of belonging he had always longed for. He had proven himself not just as a skilled shooter, but as someone deserving of respect. With his heart swelling with pride and joy, Alex realized this victory was not just about winning the contest. It was about overcoming fears and rising above the bullies who had tried to bring him down. Today marked a new chapter for him. As the dust settled after the contest, a noticeable shift began to take place among Alex's classmates. The same students who had once taunted him now approached with expressions of awe and respect. Some of his former bullies, their heads hanging low, came forward to apologize for their past behavior. "I'm sorry for how we treated you, Alex," one boy admitted, his voice sincere. "You showed us what real courage looks like." This unexpected turn of events left Alex feeling both surprised and proud. He realized that his victory had changed not only his own perception of himself but also how others viewed him. No longer just the boy labeled as half-breed, he was now seen as a talented competitor and someone worthy of admiration. Friends who had cheered him on during the contest began to invite Alex into their groups more openly. Conversations that once felt painful now flowed easily, filled with laughter and shared stories. The barriers that had isolated him were breaking down, replaced by new friendships and a sense of belonging. Alex understood that his triumph had opened doors, not just in the realm of shooting but in earning respect and acceptance from those around him. As the weeks went by, Alex continued to bask in the warmth of his newfound acceptance and friendships. Each day at school felt lighter, filled with laughter and camaraderie. He realized that those who had once mocked him now saw him for who he truly was, a talented boy with a passion for shooting and a unique identity that blended two rich cultures. In moments of reflection, Alex took pride in his mixed heritage, embracing both his African-American and Hispanic roots. He began to understand that his differences were not flaws but rather beautiful aspects that made him unique. His identity was a source of strength, and he felt determined to celebrate it openly. One afternoon, while sharing stories with his friends during lunch, Alex spoke about the traditions from both sides of his family. His classmates listened eagerly, fascinated by the richness of his culture. It felt good to share this part of himself, and Alex found joy in being authentic and real. Ultimately, he recognized that acceptance starts within oneself. By embracing who he was, Alex discovered a powerful truth. He could be proud of his identity and be accepted for simply being himself. As Alex reflected on his journey, he recognized the powerful message that had emerged from his experiences. Believing in oneself is crucial, regardless of the challenges or negative voices one might face. He had encountered bullying and doubt, but through determination and hard work, he had proven that self-confidence and resilience can lead to remarkable changes. Alex understood that it wasn't just about winning the contest. It was about understanding his worth and finding pride in who he was. Each time he stepped onto the range, he not only aimed for the target but also aimed to show everyone, including himself, that kindness and strength come from within. He wanted to inspire others who felt different or alone, just as he once did. No matter what others say, he thought, you have the power to rise above it. With every story shared and every smile exchanged with friends, Alex embodied this belief. He knew that embracing your identity and believing in yourself could break barriers and create a life full of acceptance and joy. It was a lesson he would carry with him forever, one that would help light the path for others as well.